Pro webinar, and it's the Forex forecast for the week of 6/5/17. I should do like 6/5/17. I don't know if that actually came over.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
It's actually cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God?
The deep dark
God?
sea. God. Yeah. Buy your JP bond. Yeah. That's what so, listen. We're not gonna have fun, right? I'm joined with my best friend, one of my best friends. I'll just say one. I can say the best friend, right? Because we don't know.
You can.
We're still molding our friendship.
There you go.
but listen, Mike Ficca, thank you very much for being here today. I know you haven't been feeling very well the last week or so, man.
Yeah, man. But great to be here. Everything good today, though.
Yeah. Everything is great today. And let's get right into it today, okay? All right, here's the risk and earnings disclaimer. We all see it. Pause the video. Do whatever you got to do. Just get out of my face. All right, so here, wait. 3, 2, 1. It said I have to actually show it for at least 10 seconds. So, oh well, I'll show it again later. Listen, today is is going to be a great day for everybody. Not just for myself, but for everybody, because there's a lot of ahas you're going to get today. Whether you're watching this right now, whether you just joined us, Mr. Brian Farrell, whether you're in there trading live, Cliff N, great work, Jim Frickson, Kerry Williams, Paul Senior too, Thor R, thank you so much. Everybody here today, Mike Ficca, everybody. You are the reason I push forward every day. And those that are watching this right now, those that are watching this that came here, you found us somehow, you made a decision, hey, I'm going to go through all their webinars and have a look. And if you're on this webinar right now, this might be the pinnacle point where you finally decide that this is what you really want to do. Or it may be one of those videos that, hey, I just found out what I'm not good at, right? But I'm going to lay it out on the line for you today. And this is going to be very, very easy to wrap your head around. No Tony Robbins, just all about the trade and the mentality of making a single decision. Okay. But before we do, I got to get some other things out of the way. What are we going to talk about today? Sorry, we're going to talk about, of course, I'm going to have a Max announcement. Okay. This is where Amy calls me going off on a tangent just a little, just a tiny little bit. I'm going to go there. Then we're going to talk about some of the tools we got, the Dex chat system, right? Come on. That thing's phenomenal. I'm even proud of myself. I'll toot my own horn. Toot. We'll talk about intraday and news, a little bit, some issues that we're having there, but good stuff that came out of it. And of course, being in the room, another great opportunity for everybody. First off, Max announcements. Mike, you know some of this stuff that's happening too. We are building a lot of stuff, right? There's a lot of great stuff. And sometimes when we're trying to build a lot of great stuff, right, some things get lost in, like on this page there's some stuff missing, and on this page there might be something happening, but we're still building stuff, and you keep hearing us building stuff. So we've been working hard. If Max or me, Max, or Mike is going quiet, or Amy or anybody else, it's not because we don't care. It's because Mike has kind of been sick and been working and doing a lot of, this isn't his only gig. He's a 30-year veteran of being a DJ in the tri-state area. He's very well known, and he's also been under the weather. Things happen. We're human. We're not made of steel. Things happen. But listen, you're a trader, and this is your business. So if there's something wrong, if there's something up, don't sit quiet. Don't sit and fester over something. Reach out to us. We're the most approachable company in the industry. And I can say that because, and I'll explain here in just a few minutes, that I've looked at other companies and I've started to go down that road because some things have been going on, and I'll rant for a minute and then I'll let it go. But reach out when needed. We got the phone, we got email, we got the chat system, we got support chat on the site. I mean, there's no, you can call on the phone and I answer. If I don't answer, I'll try to call you back as soon as possible. If I don't, call back. It's that simple. Take charge of your trader's life. Okay. Some of the tools I want to talk about here, and in a second, I'm going to go down this line. Just a second. I'm going to hold you captive just for 1 second, okay? And I didn't put this in the process because some things have happened since I made the webinar and right now, which has only been about an hour. and some things have been going on. And I want you to know, as members, as investors into your own time and your own business and our business, and as these things progress, this industry has competition, right? Represented by the C here. And the competition has a view on everything else that's not them. We have our own view of our own competition. We have a view of how other people do business or what have you. Okay. I have this statement that I make in my email that I say at the bottom. This is how business has always been done. That's why we do it different. And what I meant by that when I wrote it, it sounds like a Yogi Bearism, right? But there is a Yogi Berra, not bear, but there's a process. Hey, boo boo, yeah. But there's a process that I started to look when we were first looking for. And listen, when I first got ripped off, I was looking for someone to help. I was looking for someone to hand out a help, a hand up. Tell me the direction I need to go. Give me an opportunity, and I couldn't find anybody. Now I found people. Don't get me wrong. I found people, but where they're always at is in the pre-sale, right? They're attentive. They're paying attention. They're like, hey, buy my product. I'll get you in. Sit in my webinar. Let me talk to you for an hour. Go to my page. Buy my stuff. Buy my stuff. Oh, by the way, if you buy this, make sure you buy this and buy this and buy this and buy this and buy this. And this is what it looks like, right? But the moment there's an issue, there's no one to be found. The moment that I can't make something work, there's no place to find the individual. There's no phone number. There's no support chat. There's no major thing I can do. And then I go in and find that the company has this, and this problem with it. This was pre-Dex, okay? This was pre-Dex. After Dex, after I made Dex, or any one of the Dexes, Dex Signals, Dex Trader, Dex Indicators, any of it, I decided that I wasn't going to look at competition, right? I wasn't going to look at it. Not because I wanted to be cheeky and say, we don't have any competition. There's plenty of competitors out there. But I didn't see as anything that anybody else was doing, not because we had the best signals or anything else, but we had the best customer service, and we have the best opportunities, and we have the most intent to help people. That's what it really came down to. So I didn't bother with competition. I didn't scout out pages of other companies and see how much they charge compared to what I charge. I probably should have. My relatives and my family that are in business were yelling at me, why aren't you scouting the competition, see all their keywords and take all their stuff and spy on their company and do all this stuff? I said, well, first off, it's bad form. Second off, I'm small potatoes. I'm just a guy that got ripped off that wanted to help as many people as possible, not to get ripped off. By helping you, point you in a direction and maybe figure some stuff out about the market, which we did. Did awesome. So the last 2 years, a lot of things have been happening. We have had a tremendous amount of people come to the site, and I think over 5,000 now, 5,000 people through the sites and systems, through training, through free, through paid, through all of it, over 5,000 people. $5,000, 5,000 people. Okay. And something that's happened over, and I've seen regularly, is that because in pre-Dex I saw other people and I talked to other companies, I know the players involved. There's a lot of them. And some of them are really great people. Sean Jantz, the guys over at BTG, they work very hard. They're very professional. That's a whole different level of trading over there. It may be your gig. It may not be. You got guys over at Apex Investing. They got some pretty cool tools over there with scanners and all those kind of things. But everybody has their way of dealing with competition. My competition's way of dealing with me is to shop me, is to come in and buy my network and go through my systems and critique them at certain levels and ask customer service a lot of questions. And it's very frustrating. But we treat every customer the same. Why I'm telling you all this is because over the weekend, I had a company. I'm not going to mention this company's name directly, but I had a company. We're going to call them Brand X, right? And Brand X came to me and said, "Hey, I was in your system, and just as an FYI, okay, they give me the FYI thing. Just an FYI, your one signal system keeps giving signals out at this particular time period." Right? He kept on. He was telling me basically what was wrong with my network. Okay. And I asked him, "You have a pretty big company that has a lot of sales pages and a lot of things that go on out there. Why are you in my system? Why are you bothering?" He goes, "Well, it's good business to shop or your competition's got to know who they are and everything else." And you know what? I began to see the light of it. So I said, "All right, quid quo pro. You were in my system. Let me buy into yours." We had about pretty similar the same price point, so I bought into his. And just like I said in the very beginning, was proceeded to be tried to be sold, 47 things on Sunday, all the way to the point of being able to get into the process. I didn't really have anything to complain about. Everything was pretty clean and pretty neat, right? But again, it went to a whole level higher to buy into certain things, to get to a level of success. And then all along the way, I was remiss and told that I would be a failure unless I reached to the next level. So I reached to the next level, I would fail until I got to the next level, or if I bought in and did whatever. And this seemed to be the mentality of most trading networks and systems out there. And the reason I'm telling you all this is because the only way you fail as a trader is if you decide that you don't trade anymore. And even then, if it is a decision made by you, you're not a failure. In fact, just as like you cut the piece of the fat off of the steak, or a piece of bad apple or something that you found inside, and you still eat the rest of the apple, I don't know. But the whole point is that if you trim the things in your life that work or don't work for you, that doesn't mean that they're failures. That means that you had enough business sense not to go into a part of it and make something happen for yourself. It doesn't work for everybody. But the mentality of this industry has always been, you're a failure unless you use my system or my program. And you're not going to be successful unless you do exactly what I say. I'm here to tell you that this industry has become very convoluted with these kind of mentalities. But I'm here to tell you that the only way you will fail is that if you just don't do it. You just don't attempt. You don't practice. The losses that you have in your trades per day, they are not failures. They're part of the system. It's like cleaning your brush. It's like cleaning your palate when you're doing wine testing and all that stuff. You will begin to find yourself thinking of being a trader at all weird times of the day. Sounds like Scientology, right? With the whole failure thing, you're a failure unless you become. But you begin to see that the only way that you will not be successful is that if you begin to try to force yourself to be something you're not. So you have to keep an open mind. You have to keep a part of the process in front of you at all times. You got to be focusing on it. And you can't be off looking at 50 other different things. One of the other programs that this other company had is they had a way to do tech analysis, but there was no simple version of anything. There was no, here's where you start out in the very beginning. Let me give you Nadex 101, but there was no 102, 103, 104. There was 4,621. It was like, there was no in between. It was like, hey, here's what Nadex is, and then Here's how to advance trade it. There was no in between. There's no progression. And that's one thing I think that we've all done with Trader's Mind, is that there is a progression of learning, right? To learn what the process is and then train. And this is one of the most important things for all of you to do, because without this, this becomes nothing over here. It doesn't matter what you learn. If you don't train in it and then you try to use it in a professional capacity, what's going to happen, Mike?
You're going to fail.
It's going to falter. It's going to break. It's either going to break you, it's going to break your bank account, it's going to break your mentality, it's going to break you. We won't fail you, but it'll break you. That's my new term for this. Don't get broke. That sits on many different levels, doesn't it? Understand that the competition in the world, this industry, is always going to push you to think you're a failure. Market makers want you to see that you're a failure when you're trading, either in stopping you out because they can push the market to certain levels. Companies want you to think that you're a failure until you're to that point that you're going to need them even more. So buy my next program. Don't be a failure. Buy my next program. I'm here to fucking tell you that you're not a failure. And you won't be a failure if you do these particular things. I'm like, no. You pay me 19 easy payments at $19.95. You won't be a failure. No, I don't work that way. The only way you will become that failure is if you just don't do it. But if you give it that shot, if you work on this process, learn the program, train in the program, and then you can use the program to make that living, to get that. But you have to make sure that in between these, there's proper procedure done for you. And it's different for every single one of you. That's why I don't have a layout plan. That's why I don't have, if you do 17 and a half trades, you'll be successful. There's nothing there for you. I can't build that for you. I know what it was for me. I know what it was for Mike, because Mike's told me. And Thor and many other people that are in the network. There's some that have gone through the training that have called me and wrote me and said, listen, I've gone through this. And you know what? 5-minute trades are not for me. I can't seem to get the dailies down. Intradays seem to be very good for me, but I just can't seem to find my groove. I sit down and talk to them, and I find out what their true likes are and where everything, and long walks on the beach, maybe, who knows. But what it came down to was that they needed to find what part, what inventory, what system worked well for them. That's why you can't ask somebody else, hey, what's the best way? What's the best signal to use? What's the best system to use? Because it really all depends on you. So don't get tricked and fooled to looking over the fence to anybody else. Don't get tricked and fooled to think you're a failure unless you use the next and best and greatest thing. Because no matter what tool I give you, anybody can hit themselves in the face with the same hammer as the guy next to them who's building beautiful buildings. And to be quite honest with you, every single tool that is out there can be used in either a positive capacity or a negative capacity. Every single signal network out there can be used to be profitable or to lose money. That's why it's binary, it's up or down. You just have to find what part of it works for you. I once told somebody, hey, there's the double stow on Trader's Mind. You should use that. Just use that for right now. Just get in with the trades, follow the Trader's Mind, and use the double stow. Periodically, I get an email from this gentleman. And he says, this works for me. I only do 5 trades a week. I go in and I look for the perfect, every single line is going up and going down or whatever level, and I use the double stow and your support and resistance that I got for free. And that's what I do. And I'm giving you a big secret away. No, it's out there. But this worked for him. He doesn't win every single trade, but he wins enough to make his living. And that's what worked for him. Some of you need more. Some of you are going to get more here. Let's do some of that more right now. One of the main tools that we have here that just got released here, and I don't want to say the main tool, but it's one of the tools. Of course, in all of learning the pathway of the Dex pathway, right, is one of the things is to communicate with others. Why do you think it's good, Mike? Why do you think it's good and important to communicate with other traders?
Just to see how they're doing, and if they're out, if there's any problems. You know, I mean, it's another form of customer service for us. I mean, we can see what's going on real time on what trading is going on. Is it a
Absolutely.
bad time to trade? Is it not? Is it a great time to trade? I mean, instant feedback. It's great.
Yeah, and you can get instant feedback, especially with some of those that have more experience than others. If you see senior 2 or elite or senior by somebody's name in one of the rooms, and you get to with this new system, it's a little tougher. I'm trying to work on the badge system right now. I've had to hand code some of this from a friend of mine, a newly found friend, that we've been working together with on the chat system. But the Dex chat system is there because communication is important. It doesn't just show, when's a good time to trade, when not to trade, but it also shows when people are trading, gives you an availability to see what other people are doing. Because when you first get into trading, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know some of the nuances that are out there. What you can see might work for somebody else could work for you, but you don't know until you do what? Until you train with it. I don't know everything in this industry. I've learned so much from other traders in here, like Thor, and I've even learned stuff from Mike, somebody who didn't know much of anything when it came to learning the trade, but what he learned here was how to find what worked for him. I learned things from Tim H. I learned things from just about everybody who comes here. That if you sit down and you talk to me, I'm going to learn something, whether it's about you, a different type of mentality of trading, or what have you. I'm going to learn something from you. And hopefully you'll learn something from me as well. And that's what the communication network is about, is learning from each other. Not exactly what to do, but more about opportunities to learn more about others. Because the more you learn about others, the more you can find what works for you. Does that make sense? Good. So now let's get into what works for us and what is more for us and why it's so cool. Is that this system here, if you come down and you click on the little bubble, it's going to pop up a little chat room up here, this part right here, okay? And you're going to see where it says rooms. You can see all the different rooms that we have. Now, we might end up changing this to where that each site, each system will have its own chat that you'll have to log into for each one. I'm not sure yet. I'm sort of going to get some feedback. So if you want to provide feedback, please do so by emailing me at max@dexsignals.com or max@dextrader.com. Okay, and let me know what you think. Should we keep the rooms here? I might put out a poll. I might put that out to see if everybody likes the fact that all the rooms are in here or what have you. But you can quickly go down and click on any one of these rooms. You can even see who's in what room once you get in there. Click rooms. I can go back to the main, and that's where it is. Now, this process also has the availability to be able to put images in. You simply click on the little icon here, hit your folder. I get a lot of images. Go here. I won't go to that one. Let me go to the one I just posted here. Sorry. This looks really weird. I got a lot of paintings and stuff in there. I apologize. This is my download. This is my clutter. This is my junk drawer, I guess you could call it. 61, 64, where'd it go? 64, 65. There it is. I'll put that in there again. And hit submit image. It's that simple. Now, unlike the last program, you actually have to click on the imaging, right? So that's pretty important. All right. And we're working on some other things, some timestamps for the chats and stuff like that. But it became a little bit of a pain in the butt in the last one because it caused a lot of issue. Now, inside here, there's some rules, and we all know them, right? Be respectful, leave politics and religion out of it, and don't try to sell anything in here, right? I don't care if you're an affiliate, you're a business person, you offer the best system in the world. Keep it about trading and not trying to sell other people anything. That's not what this is here for. Okay? You can private message people, you can talk to people, you just got to click on their name, you go to private chat or what have you, okay? Click on their name. Now, you can't delete their account or ban a kick because I'm an admin. I can do all that, but you can private chat to each one of these people in there. But remember too, We're Big Brother. We see everything. So don't try to hide in private chat. I've seen that a few times. In the last one was that people will come in and they try to sell stuff to other people in here. Now, also, I don't expect you to be a tattletale and all that kind of stuff, but I really don't care. I want you to let us know. If you get anybody trying to sell you anything, just let us know. Because it's bad form to come in here and try to take other people away. And it hurts your company. This is your company as well. Okay? If you want us to be around for a long time, then we don't need competition coming in here trying to sell you on everything else and screwing you up at the same time, right? Good. All right. So basically, this system is if you get in and just play around with it, it's pretty robust. It's got some great features in here. Now I'm going to log in later on and show a video of me as a user side and all the different things you can use, because some of the stuff for the admin is a little bit different than what's here available for you guys. Okay. So remember, keep the rules. Don't talk anything. Don't trash talk. Don't. You don't need to show pictures of your cats and your parties and your dog's best friend's date from last night, whatever. Right? You just need to be in about trading and communicating that. And I'll tell you here in just a little bit what's going to happen with the chat room as well. What's going to happen with me every morning that we're going to be in there. Intraday and the news. A couple of weeks ago, actually a little bit more than 2 months ago, I tweaked the intradays. Yeah, I know. I said I don't really normally tweak the signal system since it's been out, but the intradays needed a little bit of tweaking. And when I did so, I noticed that the NA intraday signals took off. I mean, it was one little percentage tweak that probably would have went unnoticed for many, many moons, because it was doing okay, but it wasn't doing phenomenal. And then something just happened. We tweaked them, and they started doing very, very well. And then about a week ago, we use the new system, investing.com, right? And investing.com, sorry, I don't want to read it all out, but investing.com uses a part of the process of providing news, and they use it through a hypertext language, HTML, right? And their website is made of this process, okay? We use a plugin that we created. That the plugin sits in a special charting system, and it goes to investing.com, and it takes the information, scans the website on its news page, takes that information, puts it into another server, compiles the information to apply it to a filter. I know it seems kind of weird, right? And says, Dex signals, put this NA intraday through that filter, and then apply that filter and show them on the site on Dex Trader. Right? So all this stuff has to happen. Creates the filter, takes all that information, applies a filter that we can set over here. Okay, we can set the parameters of the filter over here, and then it goes on, right? A week or so ago, we had a button turned off in this system. For some reason, it kept on turning off, and we have an understanding why. I don't really want to tell anybody why, but I and Mike knows what I'm talking about. But we feel like we had an internal process that for some reason there was a button that was made available to the general public, and somebody kept on turning it off. I don't know why or how it happened, but this is how it happened. Somebody came in and turned off that button. It seems really weird. I could have even done it myself, I guess you could say. Who knows? Not on purpose. It would have been by accident. But it kept on turning off. So even after I knew that I wasn't doing it, it kept on turning off. And I wasn't sure. Maybe it was the code. Maybe it was something happening in the code. Who knows? But whatever it was, we've sort of not been able to figure out why it keeps doing it. Other than that the HTML coming from investing.com keeps shifting. There is securities in HTML, of course, which we've had to bypass. Now, this is nothing. None of this is illegal. They offer this information out there freely. Okay, they offer the information out there for investing.com freely, and they do so in such a way that, I mean, you have to sign up for their stuff. You have to do a lot of things to make it happen. But that's what we've done. We've followed all the rules. So we're all, there's some of us that are pretty talented in coding, but there's something that's just happening that's just a little off. So we're trying to figure that out. So in the meantime, we're still going to have to use our common sense. We're going to have to look at the HTML versions keep changing in investing.com, but we're going to have to keep an eye on the news with that system. Now, I know the system works. I know that the intraday, the NA intradays, even the intradays now, because they're one and the same basically right now. Okay, I'm keeping them both up there just in case we do figure it out or are able to figure it out. But if it comes down to it, we are going to have to shift to maybe just having the intraday there, and you just trade beyond news. You have to trade around the news. You got to pay attention to it, right? And it's not that hard, folks. The availability to trade the intraday, sorry. Let me wait for the, there we go. It's not that hard. Simply come to the intraday signals, click on the intraday signals, click on the news, scroll down, make sure you're in the proper time frame, that you're in the proper time zone, that everything's right, and scroll down to see if there's any 2 or 3 bull news happening at this time. Right now, there's not. We then go back to the signals. How long did that take, Mike? 2 seconds?
Yes, not even.
All right. It becomes part of your flow. You hear the signals go off. You know it's the top of the hour. Signals for intraday come off and fire off at the top of the hour and 15 minutes after the hour. See, 15 minutes after the top of the hour. And if you can't get into a signal, look at this. Even the intradays are doing really well, right? So I mean, they're all doing well. And if you're telling me that you can't get into trades because you can't get into the signal because it's too far off and all that, that was the dailies. Intradays are different, aren't they, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
You want to see why they're different? Okay, we'll show you why they're different. These aren't all intradays, and this is just for June. This is from last night. I started trading again because I've gone through so Mike knows how much I've gone through to get to where we're at just right now since I've moved, and even getting back to here and fighting with all the things that we've been fighting with. I haven't been in the right frame of mind to trade, but once I did, I decided I was going to get back and start trading again. I'm even trading 5-minute signals. That's right. I'm trading 5 minutes because I sit in the proper areas to do the work. I use the WB. I use my tools.
Sorry, I fell off the chair. Hold on. Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm even but listen, I'm shooting for perfection. I'm shooting, Dex MACD all got to be pointing in the direction. The levels got to be right. I got to see a good trend, running. I'm not doing counter trends. I'm doing like a Carl, okay, only doing a certain amount of them, getting to my point, getting to my money, and then done. This was last night. This was 6-4 last night at 10 o'clock last night because that was my time. I found a perfect Auto USD that came up, never even looked back, made my money. Look at it, 65 bucks, right? I made a boo-boo. I got in for at the money, or not at the money, but I got in at the, I forgot to change the working order over. Well, you can see that I started with the intradays. These INT here are the intradays. The signals came out late last night, 22.24. Then you got in a little late on this one. I put a working order on it for me because I knew that I was going to get a bounce back, but I'm looking for perfection. Look at these numbers. I did something because remember, I've been out of trading for a while, and even okay, scalped out at this point because I saw so much money on it. I went, I want my money. I forced my own wins there. Now I could have kept these both. They both won with no problem. They kept on going, and it was beautiful. I then got into, in between that, some more 5-minute trades. There's 3 in a row. Pretty healthy. You agree, Mike?
Mm-hmm. Very.
Forgot to put my 5 on this one. Made a boo-boo. Missed out on 70-something bucks. Made my boo-boo. I got back in my intradays this morning. This is this morning. In fact, I finished off the last one here. Finished off my last one right there. Got that. Let me grab that. Put that here. So not too bad. That's a set for this morning. 406,000. Hey, I don't know if you guys know this when you're doing your journal. If you highlight an area that has numbers in it like this, you can come right down here and see the little sum. If you click on that, you can see how many trades you did, the sum, the minimum, the maximum, the total sum, the average. You see that? Per trade, average $101 per trade. So that's pretty powerful. If you can do that, you can even do something like that, cover all that, and see the same thing, right? But I like to do that just to kind of know what I did for the morning. I did 4 trades, made $406 so far this morning. Okay, so the matter of getting into trades is just knowing your tools. And the tools you have for this are very easy to use. Trading intraday, what to look for. And this is a big thing. And we're even gonna, maybe I can even do this quick enough, and maybe we'll start doing these in some of these webinars. Let's just look at what we look for the intraday. Okay, might be with me.
Yep.
Okay. Let me get over to. Let me see if I can pull this off. We're going to do Dex intraday. We're going to just look at this. Let's look at the. Now it's been 37 minutes since he's fired off, so bear with me. We can use the charts on the site here, but I also want to show you some of the Dex MACD stuff, or the Dex MACD and the support and resistance. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to look at, first off, there's 3 trades that come up here, right? This first one that fired off at 12 o'clock, you could have been like, it's under 80%. I probably don't want to even touch this thing. What could you have done? You could have gone to the DPC, look at the USD CAD, and see what kind of results it's had. Oop, wrong one. Was that the wrong one? Signals USD CAD buy at 78%. Minus the buy there. See. Okay. Oh, it's beginning of the week. Okay. Okay. So you could have avoided that particular one by looking at the 78%. Right? You could have said to yourself, I want to be above 70 or what have you, right? Or you could have isolated the variable, right? Clear sort, or you could have gone to the sorting by clicking on the plus. You could have got the asset in USD CAD. And how well is it done? Just by having a look over the last 4 or 5 days, this is the last week. How well is it done overall, right? So overall, 78.6% over the last 100 trades. Okay, you could have said no, but you could have looked and said, hey, look, you know what? Today it's done 100% so far. 2 trades, 100%. Not too shabby. So you could have said that was the one. So now that you've filtered out no news, that's the one you want to do. What do you do next? Go to your chart. So let's pull up a chart. Now I already have a, where should be? Using my mind, there it is. So click and drag it right over. Now I got this on 15-minute. Right, so on 15-minute, let me pull this down. On 15 minutes, I have a support and resistance on. My indicators, support and resistance, Dex MACD. This is the only 2 things that I have on. I want to maybe even pop this thing off and put it up to a corner. Let me do that. Come on, there we go. Take my chat room, pop it down to a corner. This is not working out so well because I have too many things going on. There we go. So now I have my signal right there. Okay, I know what I have. And this is all prior to, and I know this looks kind of hokey right now doing it, but now I could pull up my other things here. Let me go open up demo in there. Okay, and I can get my chart up, and I can have my chart right there like that if I wanted to. There's all these little things you can do at this point. Okay, so now I have my USD CAD up, and I have all my stuff up prior to getting to the signal. Right, 5 minutes before the top of the hour, you better have all this up and ready. Okay, that's what it really comes down to. Have your tools prepared. I can have my chat room there so I can bounce stuff off to other people that are in the room or what have you. Right, you don't have to have your chat system up there, but as you're talking to people, maybe I'm giving you advice, maybe I'm talking you through trades, what have you, you're going to want this open. So USD CAD, what am I looking for? Well, the first thing I'm looking for is support and resistance. What's the line I'm looking at? 34.74, right? Take a line. There's a line system on this. We all know that, right? Grab a line, 34.74. Make it a different color than the rest of your stuff. 34.74. It's all the way down here. It's on a buy from 34.74. The signal came out right here. Right here. So it's only about 8 pips off of where the line was, but we're in a buy system, right? So now I look at, I've seen support and resistance. I got a nice little support and resistance line, a little support line right here, that even though that this is coming down, it looks like it has a, it's kind of popped up here a little bit and it's coming back down on this counter trend, right? Because this is still kind of playing the whole downward trend thing happen, right? Because higher or lower highs. So still, this would be considered a counter trend trade, right? Because you're looking for trend. Which way is the trend going? As I say right here. So you've looked to find where's the support and where are your resistance lines. Which way is the trend going? You've looked at news already. And is this a trade that the news pushed around at all? Did the news come out at 10 o'clock or at 12 o'clock and push this, or from 11 to 12 and push this trade into a signal? Because that's always a possibility too. So as long as you've said that, hey, the news, it was more than an hour away or half hour away from the last time it released to right now, you're still good. So you're looking for check marks. Got good support and resistance check marks, trends in a direction that I approve of. And when I say approve of, I mean that if you're comfortable with trading counter trend moves, right? It's in an up position and the signal says a sell, which means that it's like this, right? Signal says a sell right here, and you're betting on, here's your statement price up here. You're betting that it's just going to kind of stay underneath here before it hits this, and here's your expiry, and you're looking to hit this mark right here. Okay, you're looking to thread that needle. This is what happened with Cliff M today. This was the Euro JPY was a counter trend move. Let me pull back over there real quick. I think he was in that room. He was in the room with it. Right? Let me see here. Yeah, Cliff got in for at 124.19. Okay. Got in at 124.19 on the Euro JPY. Okay, back over here. It was for a buy. So we got in at 124.19 right around here where this big blue line is. And we already knew that there was some, because it was heading down. It was in a sell pattern, right? It was ranging for a little while and then sort of broke its range here by this line right here. Let me get rid of some of these other lines here. So it's showing a flag movement. But once we started to trend downwards, lower highs, lower lows. I even said to him the statement price on Nadex was at 124.19 instead of 124.17 like the signal called, because that's what the signal called out was 124.17, which is the signal is down here. He then allowed this thing. He got in at such a good price though You got in at $68, a $32 profit margin. You got in at such a good price that he allowed it to bounce and do some things, and then he made 15 bucks. And he got out. He scalped out because he saw himself, and I even told him once in the room, listen, if it breaks the if it breaks its particular amount, I think it was like 124.30, and it stays over that, I think that was right down here, and it stays over that for that time period, then keep your trade. But if it doesn't close out past 11:30 above that number, then break it out, scalp it out. I got stuck into the trade because I couldn't scalp out at that time. I was scalped out for a loss, but I still felt very good that it was going to bounce off that level and do that part of the process. But that only comes with a tremendous amount of information, which I looked at support levels. I looked at the way the Dex MACD was facing. I looked at even some micro trend information that was happening. What I mean by that is that I'm looking for these particular types of things. You see this? 1, 2, 3. Like if I'm in a trend, if I'm going in a trend, I'm looking for a trend value, a little micro leg of a trend, right? 3 bars in the same direction with good worth, right? A little bit of chunk. Something like this too is a micro trend up, right? Because then what's happening? This is a counter trend, right? Counter micro trend heading up when the market is ultimately heading downwards. But you need a macro look at this to see where this is at, where this is going, because you're doing the last in a 15-minute bar. I'd say you're probably doing the last day's worth of information here, right? From the previous close from yesterday. Kind of looking at this, right? This is an overall trend downwards. So these are the things that I look at. So back to the USD CAD. On a 15-minute chart, I'm looking at that down here for the buy, that there was an impulsive move up, but something else happens here, right? When there's always a move up, there is always pullback, right? Some people call it the halfway back, some people call it the 50% retracement, all that kind of stuff. And before I get into trying to show you Fibonacci's and all that stuff, you're basically looking at 50% of the move, right? So from here to here is what? 38 pips. From this move to this move is about 38 pips. So you're kind of looking at about halfway, about 19 pips, right about there, right? 34.81. There should be some pullback. If it pulls back to this point, and bounce off and keep going from that point. So I'm kind of looking at that part of it. I'm also looking at some pretty mean values happening here with the MACD. Some pretty big strength. It's down below 0. Everything's heading down. I'm only 5 pips away from that mark. Now before, when it fired off, I was all the way up to here. Okay. And so I was about 9 pips off my mark. So being a counter trend, and there's not a lot of information here, and it looking kind of, even at this mark right here, everything was sort of pointing down. I probably wouldn't have gotten into this trade. Without me talking, this only took about a minute and a half to look at, right, Mike?
Mm-hmm. Not even. You can do it much faster.
Yes. And it can come down looking like something like this. Let me clear the sorting here. Set the refresh page. Too many things happen on my computer. I can go back over. I can go to Audi JPY. I've already looked at the news once. I know that there's no news pushing the Audi in, right? I'm back over at signals. Back to my chart. I've written down 82.56. Maybe I got a piece of side paper, or maybe I have it blocked out like you see normally. 82.56 on the buy. I'm looking at that. Audi, what is it? I usually have all this up, and I do apologize. 82.56. Grab myself a line. 82.56. There's 82.57. I've already been down this road. 82.56. Here's my line. Okay. Back when this came out right here, I was right here at this margin. Only about 7 pips away. It would have probably been a good trade to get into. Right. I would have then went over to Nadex and I would have looked for a statement price that was suited close to this 82.56, of course. And give me 1 second and go open up demo. It's frustrating. All right, I'll just use this account. We come into binaries, on JPY. Is expired for 1 o'clock, which is we're really close to where we're at right now. 82.56. Was that was the number, right? 82.56, yes, for the buy. 82.56. See, we had a little bit of a difference. So 82.58. The lowest one down below was 82.53. So I would have looked at this and said counter trend, right? Counter trend move. 82.58. I'm still 2 pips up. If I can get in for a good price, I probably will get in good. Like if I can get with like what Cliff M got earlier, like a $32 profit margin, possibly. I could probably risk it a little bit more from that. But if I'm doing for $20 or $22, I'm not looking for that risk. So again, I look for good reasons to be in the trade, just as much as I'm trying to be in the trade to make it. Because remember, patience is what's going to make you as much money as you want to make. Rushing the deal, forcing the trade is not. And that's what happens when you just take a minute, right? And maybe you have a little checklist, right? We call this your flow checklist. And your checklist involves, it says check news, right? Check. There's no news, or there is news, and that therefore ends it. Okay. If not, then you check the SR, you check the price, you look, is the trend going in your direction? SRs are good. It's not sitting, if it's like a sell, okay? If it's calling for a sell and the price is right here, and you're already above and it's already closed out above the support line, a heavy support line, make sure there's more than 1 or 2 touches to this line, then this is probably not a trade to get into. You're kind of defeating yourself here. Right? You're rolling the stakes, you're rolling the dice. Right? Also look, if it's a sell, are you on a micro, are you on a counter trend move trying to happen right now? If it's sitting in a zone, it's just kind of doing this number, right? Just doesn't really know what it wants to do, then you got more of an opportunity to take that trade. Or if you're going in the direction already of the trend, that's a check, right? If it's ranging, or going sideways, this is up to you at that point. You're looking for other values. The Dex MACD, is it going in your direction? Check. Does it have a crossover happen for that movement? Check. Maybe using stochastic. Is it going in my direction? Check. Is it coming out overbought? Check. This is great. Great news for me. I got movement. If these things are hitting, the last little bits to head over to Nadex, check the number, check the statement. Is it a good statement for you? Is it right at the number that you're on or within 2 pips of it? And can you get in for a good price? $22 or more. On intradays, don't go anything less than this. And if you go anything more than, I'd say, $30, you have an opportunity for this thing. This thing's going to be it's shaky, right? It's going to try to come back to that mean area. Because if it's already failed once, it's already come so super close for you to get $30 or $32 for profit margin, so that's 68 on the other or 70, then it's probably in a volatile market at that point, which that Euro JPY was, because it was at the end part of the day. It was the end part of the day for the London market. Okay, so these are some of the things that you have to kind of take in consideration when doing the intradays. Check the news, check the SR level. These are 2 or 3 things. There's no other huge secret to it, is there? Now, how do you test this part out? How do you make this part happen for you? Simple. Just do it. Just get in and start doing it. If you're going to use counter trend trades, if you're going to go against a counter, I just want one little thing. Do a lot of practice with it. In your journal, put in counter trend, right? In your journal, make yourself a note, if you will. Right? Let's see if we can find my journal. Yeah. So this one right here was an ITN for counter trend. So I could put a note like that. I could tell myself. And this one was ITN with trend. Remember that one. And this one this morning was counter trend. And if you find yourself that, hey, counter trend work out really, really well for me, then could all be good for you. That's where the data comes from. That's where you have to work that part of the process for you. Okay. The chat room's going to be open. Chat room's open all the time, 24/7. But I'm going to be in there from early in the morning, 8 to 9 o'clock to 12 noon, just about every day, Monday through Thursday. Sunday nights, I'll be in there probably roughly after 7, 8 o'clock. First statements come over that I can start trading around 8 o'clock at night. I'm looking at intradays. I'm doing that from like 8 to 11. I'll be in the room. I want you to join me in there. If you're watching this, if you're in the chat room, or in the webinar today, I want you to join me in there. If you can. If you can't, that's okay. I get it. There's times you will be able to get in there and times you won't. I may be in there later on at night too, from 8 to 11 during the week, but I'm leaving that open to my own discretion, and your good luck at that point. Because literally, I'm in there at my own grace at that time. That's my time. That's my time, not just to trade, but that's my time to meet others and maybe socialize and kind of chill out that's my time. Some of you know that I have other curricular stuff that I do. I paint, I make video games, I play with my kids, I have fun. That's my trader's life. And I love it. Final notes real quick and I'll let you go very fast. Building is in my blood. I can't help it. I can't help but find things that I want to take the complicated and make it simple. I can't help but try to build as many things as I can to find the things that work, make my life easier. I love the chat room. I love the website. Things are always going to be changing. The sites will be changing again. That's right. They will change. There's new dashboard systems that we're creating to make life easier. There's more training processes that are happening. There's all kinds of things that are happening right at the moment. Let me see something here real quick. I do apologize. No, I don't. I don't apologize for this one. I want to go look to see what Dex just fired up. Okay, looks like they all won. Today's been a pretty damn good day for intradays. I don't know if you've seen, but that's pretty good. Remember, top of the hour, they fire off, and 15 minutes after the hour. So be ready for those things. Okay? Because I don't know, did you guys look at the number for today for me? Oh, did you guys see that number? I don't know if you guys, I'm not trying to brag, but I'm telling you right now, $400 for the day. $406. That's after fees. That's everything. 20 days a month. Okay. You guys do the math. I'm doing okay. I like my money. This took a lot of work to get to, a lot of patience, a lot of value. You can get there as well. Teaching is in my heart. I believe that I firmly believe that I love to teach because it reconfirms everything that I learn. Does that sound weird, Mike?
No, not at all.
You know, when I hear myself say it to somebody, I sort of etch it into my own mind even further. So I'm really teaching myself at the same time I'm teaching you. Teaching myself more and more every single day. Begin to teach yourself and maybe others too. Maybe talk to other people. You know, find what works for you and make it. Listen, doing something once or twice doesn't make it perfect. Once you get to 1,000 times, then maybe come and talk to me. Don't tell me that, hey, this is fantastic when I change it to a 17.5 to a 14.3 and I stand on my right foot and wait and wave at Mecca. You know, unless you've done that every single day and you have a result to show for it, keep teaching yourself. Don't confuse anybody else with the process. But teaching is in my heart because I love to help people. I love to get to that point that there is a success that you can gravitate to as well. Ultimately enough, making money is in my mind, my trader's mind to be exact. In order for me to be successful, I only needed to meet a few things. My idea of success for me personally is not your idea of success. I'm not even sure if I should tell you what my idea of success is. It's not about not worrying about money. It's not about not worrying about, you know, my home or those kind of things. It's me being comfortable with who I am is my idea of success. What have I become? I've become a trader. I've been a family man for a long time. I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. I've worked from home for a long time. I'm secure within those things. I'm confident in what I do. And I love the process that as a whole, as everything there is. You don't have to love every bit of it. You don't have to love the long hours or the frustrations you get when things fail or fall through or break. But you can love it as a whole. And my friends, if you can love what you do and it makes you money, this is the ultimate success. If you're doing what you love, it doesn't have to make you money for you to be a success. Do you realize that? You can be doing what you love just for the pure sake of doing it. If you're doing what you love and you can survive, live, have your life, then I think you kind of got it made. You are a success. In order to do that, you need to think, you need to act, and you need to become. Because none of it will happen if you don't do it. At this time, I want to thank everybody for being here and thank for you, that the ones that are watching after the fact, for getting to this part of the video. Mike, thanks a lot for being here today, buddy. I know you stretched because you were really, I know you're pretty tired with everything that's been going on in your life.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Everybody that's in the room, you can stick around for some real quick questions and answers. I have a meeting with a big company here in about 25 minutes that I'm talking to, getting some stuff, some swag, a little collaboration.
And Max, real quick, if I could just interject this for 1 second. Max, over the weekend, for like Thursday or Friday, he said to me, "I got to get back into trading." And the first thing he said to himself, which was very impressive, was, "I got to look at the Trader's Mind series again." And he did, and here he is. It's amazing. It really is a great system. I've done it at least 10 times over the last year that I've been here. It's crazy, really, really good.
You know what's funny?
And we're updating it as well.
Oh yeah, it's getting a whole new skin now. The reason why it works so well is because it was what I was searching for all that time. It was the exact moment that I found what I needed, the exact moment I needed it, and I wrote it down. And when I wrote it down, I started preaching it to people like Paul. And Paul was one of the first people. Him, Vivian Edwards, and a handful of people, Amy and Brian. everybody. I was the mad scientist. I forced everybody to go through it and train in it. And I left it like it was because I knew that I could always go back to it. Secretly, guys, I go back to it at least once every 2 or 3 months. And we've been around for 2.5 years now. I was making 6 G's a month trading and doing all the things that I needed to do. I didn't need much more than that. I didn't need to be the big guru making $100,000 a year. Even though that's pretty close, I'm making 72. And I rarely have to work for it that hard. I mean, I worked hard to get to there. But like Mike is saying, you need a tune-up every once in a while. You got to go back. You got to wipe out the cobwebs. You got to go through. And when I was doing a 5-minute trade yesterday and last night, I mean, I talked to Mike on Thursday and Friday, and I said, man, I got to get back into trading. I've been pulling back with excuses too much, but I don't think I could just jump in. I better go, run myself through the car wash. And I did, and that's the trader's mind. The trader's mind that you guys are going to see coming up is a little bit different. It's going to be a completely, it's not going to be like, it's not going to ruin you, but it's going to change your perspective, not just the trading. It reinforces everything I am about a trader, but it gives me that concept of direction. Okay, that sometimes taking all that complicated bullshit that you see out there and only making about 1 or 2 things. When this happens, do this. When this happens, do this. And that's it. And then focusing on that result. And it doesn't even have to be a great result. It just has to get you back into the swing of seeing everything. And then you simply add on more tiny things to become very good and proficient at. And then your results will show. And you don't need very many of them to be consistent. Like I could continue to trade today. I could continue to sit down and trade today, but I've had my fill. I've gotten to my levels. I'm comfortable with what I have. I'm not missing anything out on the table. I'm not pushing my mind too far, and I'm allowing myself to be. I want to thank people like Carl. I don't know if you're watching this, Carl, if you're around, but buddy, you've enlightened a lot of us too with doing that same thing, following that mentality. You don't need 50 trades a day. Mike, thanks a lot for bringing that up. You energized me to get back into doing it again, and I knew that I needed to get back into trading full time again. And I'm back. So keep an eye out. There's a lot of great things that are happening. But remember, we're still building. We're still putting on the process. I'm going to stop the recording now. Everybody has watched this after the fact. Thank you so much. And of course, as always, trade well. I'm Max. This is DexTrader.com. We'll see you next time.